What's up, drafters? I just finished breaking up a Jets fight, but I also just finished going through the scoring for the first 3 weeks of NFL action. I'm here to tell you that you should pretty much always start two quarterbacks, and I have the numbers to back it up. Let me explain. There's been some bad football to start this year, and teams don't even have a COVID excuse. In week 1, there were only 9 wide receivers who scored over 20 points. If we only use wide receiver 1s and 2s, even though a few others are part of the group, that's a mere 14% of receivers that hit the 20 mark. 7 running backs scored over 20, and with backfield committees pretty popular these days, this was a bit harder to nail down, but I lowballed it, saying only half of NFL teams use another running back consistently. That led to 14% as well. 7 quarterbacks put up 20 or more, and with 32 starting quarterbacks, that made 22%. Week 2, we brought some heat, and 19 wide receivers, 12 running backs, and 17 quarterbacks breached the 20 mark. Using the same ratios, 30% of wide receivers, 25% of running backs, and 53% of quarterbacks scored over 20 points. This past week, it was back to 14% of receivers, 10% for running backs, and 35% of starting quarterbacks hitting 20 or more. But Sam, Raheem Mostert scored 45, and this guy Devon Achane put up 51. But Sam, Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams, even Keenan Allen have put up crazy numbers. You're right, and anyone who has these guys on their team when they go off is probably winning a bunch of cash. But teams are exactly that, teams of 10 players. Now you can make the case that wide receivers, running backs, and even defense plus kickers have higher ceilings than quarterbacks. We saw what Dallas did, and look at Buffalo this week. But if you plan on entering multiple teams each week, you're going to want to use this strategy. Consider this. Out of the groups mentioned above, only 6 receivers went for over 20 at least 2 out of the 3 weeks. Justin Jefferson and the rookie, Puka Nacua, are the only 2 to do it every week. Christian McCaffrey is the only running back to score over 20 each week, but Zach Moss and Raheem Mostert did for at least 2. Compare these to the 9 quarterbacks who've put up over 20 points in at least 2 of the 3 games, with Pat Mahomes and, get this, Jordan Love being the only 2 who've done it across all 3. Combine this with the amount of options at each position, that's 9% of receivers, 6% of running backs, but 28% of quarterbacks who have consistently put up good numbers for your team. I'm a numbers guy, and these numbers say that if you're playing NFT Draft week to week, start 2 quarterbacks. You can thank me later.